welcome to Story Lords, my beautiful babies, who I hope had a beautiful 2 weeks. I was going to say Toonhounds.
He did. He did.
My Toonhounds intros are slick. My Story Lords intros are not.
I've listened to that slick.
That's how you can tell what podcast I'm on this week. This is Story Lords, the fiction podcast with 2 prompts, 3 stories, and infinite laughs, and sometimes some bitching and moaning because we all hate life.
Wah, there's a truck driving by. Wah.
This week, our prompts were religion and bazooka. I'm your host.
Singular bazooka.
Well, it's bazooka. Bazookas? It doesn't sound right.
If you put more than one bazooka in your story, you're fucking fired.
I didn't, so I'm all right.
I didn't either.
I didn't either.
I'm Rich Masters, and with me, as always, is Jeff.
Hey.
And Josh.
Hello.
Yeah. How are our weeks this week, guys? Like we haven't been talking for like half an hour before.
Did you watch the eclipse?
Yeah.
No. Couldn't see it from where I was.
It. No, you were on the other. It was nighttime for you, so
yeah.
No eclipse for you.
I don't get the whole fascination, though. I don't.
You don't get the fascination that the moon is blotting out the sun from the sky?
Yeah, I'm not. This is,
it's all blasé to you. Who cares that the fucking heavens are moving above us?
But they're always moving.
Yeah,
not like
but
this.
Yeah, but
isn't it crazy though that it does that? Like the moon is perfectly as far away as the sun is as large. That's so weird.
Yeah. I mean that's great, but when it moves an inch to the right, it won't be in that position for another X amount of years.
Well, that's why we want to see it, dum.
That's where you.
It's not going to be there for X amount of years.
That's where you want to see it. I don't
see
it.
Have you ever seen a solar eclipse, like a real solar eclipse?
Yeah, I think so.
Don't lie.
You're lying to us right now.
There was a time I can remember as a kid being out playing football while soccer. Sorry. While one was happening. I don't think it was a full eclipse. I think it was a partial eclipse, and it got really cold. And I was like, "Oh, it's the eclipse," because you don't care about shit like that when you're.
I guess my question is, beyond this great story, are you excited or do you enjoy the wonder of any kind of nature of this world that we live upon?
Yeah, Rich.
But I mean, I didn't get the whole like. If I was working or I was doing something else that I was super interested in, would I go and see an eclipse?
I stopped writing this story to go outside and look at the eclipse.
I didn't know this was going to be such a hot button topic today.
I don't think it's a hot button topic. I think it's just
glad that we.
I guess the secret is I don't actually give a shit whether Rich likes eclipses or not. Like, it's whatever.
Rich was too busy defeating the German soccer team at soccer practice one day.
Rich is too busy headbutting a child and killing him playing soccer.
He couldn't. He was like, I don't got time for that shit.
I mean, don't go up for the ball for the same time as me, kid. You're gonna knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, you're gonna get concussed.
I mean, he's dead.
Well,
good.
One less kid in the world.
Maybe we should start over.
I'm first this week, and my story is called... Oh, wait a minute. Before we start, I'm going to turn off my email notifications because that's fucking loud in my ear. There we go. So, my episode, which is episode 15 of the series, is called To Thine Own Self Be a Giant Angry Crocodile.
It's a lesson we could all take to heart.
Asher dodged the throng of people like your dad dodged the responsibility of raising you, and moved through the marketplace, trying not
fucking me up.
trying not to stab anyone, as she was jostled back and forth by the idiot townsfolk of the Velataean colony, going about their usual mundane little boring existences.
Fucking looking at this solar eclipse that only happens every 100 years.
Or when it's 2 foot to the right, that only happens every 100 years. All of her senses were assailed by the place and its inhabitants, but the scents of the market were intoxicating. The smell of exotic spices, filleted fish and meat, syrupy pastries, and the lavender lotions floating off of the oiled, cut bodies of the sex workers who were showing more flesh than the butcher's market stalls.
Did some of them smell like fish, though, you said?
No. That was the market stall, like 3 down. You notice how a lot of these stories have started out with mentions of sexatoriums and massage parlours. Never say I don't cater to my audience, you freaky little sex perverts.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Rich, stop with the sex perversions.
Our prompts next week are sex and perverts. They're not.
Done and done.
I care to have your worries stroked away, my lovely, one of the lithe men called to Asher as he hung out of the open doorway and simultaneously hung out of his small green Speedo.
It's like uncomfortable thinking about.
Yeah. It'd have to be a loose Speedo.
Yeah, like a yeah.
I don't think they make a loose
No, they don't.
Speedo.
They do when I wear them, you know what I mean? Because my dick is small. Wait,
or your Speedo's old. You can come spend some time in my hands. She'd have to sit on your face, Malin. Your nose is longer than that cashew nut you call a penis.
Damn.
Purred the woman sex worker in clothes so transparent it was like she was wearing the ghost of clothes.
You're writing Spooky Vision this week?
This is great.
She looks like she needs a few curves pressed against her. Or maybe she needs the services of our benefactor's deft touch. Your worries will be gone or your entire money back. In truth, Asher was more in need of a front butt boogie partner than your mum after she'd been kicked out of her book club for returning her Mills and Boons novel with all the pages stuck together. My God, Liz, just go out and get your man on. Couple of drinks and the gin smell will mask the scent of your pathetic loneliness and desperation. I know Bob left, but that was 10 years ago, and he was a waster. Go and rent How Stella Got Her Groove Back and pull yourself together. You still got some good years left in you, girl. Don't waste them thinking you're not desirable. In fact, you don't even need no damn man. You're a wonderful human being, and I don't care what they've been scribbling on the public bathrooms about you having herpes so bad that sex with you is like dipping a dust buddy into sulfuric acid.
Oh my
Jesus.
God!
You're you.
So where?
And that
Just
should be
keeps
enough.
going. Where's she gonna rent a movie from, Rich?
Wait, where the hell was I? Oh yeah, Asher could do with some sex. She'd been on Velit for the last this Velitarian colony for the last 4 months, keeping her head down, not because she was giving head, because we all know from how sexually charged last paragraph she wasn't getting any, and trying to keep out of the way of history. But God, she was hornier than a triceratops eating a cream horn whilst learning the French horn, who also happened to have a raging boner.
What's a cream horn?
Oh, have you never had a cream horn? It's like a pastry with cream in it.
I've had Jeff's cream horn.
There you go then. That's what obviously what I meant.
A cream horn is like a flaky, doughy pastry that's like in the shape of like a cornucopia horn, but like thinner, and it's got cream in it.
Jeff's flaky cornucopia shaped dick.
Look, I don't judge you guys and your dicks.
Maybe you should start.
I just take them. I don't judge them.
She took both the sex worker's hands and let herself be led into the building with a sigh. She was just so tired and so alone, and if she didn't get fucked soon, she might drown this whole city in a splooshin' army.
Jeez.
Wow. This is written from the female
I'll
gaze.
have what she's not having.
She was led into a room of soft curtains and soft pillows and strong pillars. And the decor was nice too. Hey-o!
Hey-o!
But seriously, it was like an old world harem in here. To be clear, just in an aesthetic way and not in the keeping sex slaves way, which is not cool, and I'll go out on a limb and say this is a Storylord's endorsed opinion, especially now that Greg's not here this week.
Wow!
And he's not here to defend himself. The woman stood at the doorway as she directed Asher to the bed and dimmed the lights. You can disrobe behind the screen. Bathe and cover yourself with the sheet. Our master will be in soon. You are in for a treat. He's a maestro of joy, an auteur of orgasm. Just relax and melt away. Asher peeled her clothes off, dropping her skins to the floor in a heap, and showered the dried blood and guts from her torso, before heading over to the bed and slipping under the sheets.
When's the last time she's been here for 4 months?
Yeah, she doesn't.
This is fucking bad, dude.
The door opened. I'm just going to put on some music to set the mood. The first bars of Sandstorm by Darude played. And Asher's face twisted in disgust at this Messiah Casanova she had somehow found herself influenced by. She lifted her head slightly to see 2 limbs, blurry in the low light as they came towards her. No peeking. I trust you're comfortable, the man said as he approached and placed his hands on her back. They were warm and vibrating like a massage chair. She groaned at the relaxation that transmitted across her whole body down to her toes. Mm-hmm, she said, barely able to string words together. She turned.
This is going to be a sticky episode if you keep this up.
I'm wondering how far we're about to go.
I'm hoping we're going farther than this.
She turned as he slipped himself between the, wait for it, sheets. The word was sheets, you horn dogs. And he took her face.
We're horn dogs.
And he took her face in his hands and kissed her. A firm but tender kiss that was exactly what she needed, and the best kiss she'd ever received. And she'd received a kiss by Belar the demon with 7 tongues. And let me tell you, those tongues made your average tentacled field hentai look like a regular old hentai. Unless you're into S&M, and then those 2 things might be the same to you. Look, I can't keep up with all your kinks, you dirty heathens. She ran her hands down his body, felt the toned musculature, the soft hair, the cybernetic parts. She pushed him away, and as he fell to the floor, he landed with a bone-cracking crunch. As Asher rushed to the lights and switched them on, a broken Hallgrim lifted himself to his feet.
I knew it.
And relocated his metal shoulder servo. Listen, lady, if you want the rough stuff, you got to pay a little Asher! She rushed over to Hallgrim and pulled him to her, wrapping her arms around him. Thank God, she whispered, sounding close to tears. I thought I was going to die here all alone. Are the others with you? Hallgrim enthusiastically but cautiously returned her hug, but hover-handed because he knew that she was like a domesticated tiger. Happy if everything was perfect, but if she were hungry, tired, or just plain fancied it, she'd tear your junk off and dance around in the blood fountain just for the hell of it. Look, Hallgrim had never seen a tiger and regretted the comparison instantly. No, babes, I've been here a year and I was a bit on my own for a large part of it. None of our friends from our time are here. I thought you'd all left me. It's so good to see you, Ash. She looked into his eyes, a look passing between them. She'd obviously thought the same thing. She kissed him on the forehead, so happy to see him. Maybe we should get dressed. There's no need to be embarrassed, Ash. I've run this bordello for a year now. I've seen it all, mate. We're both grown-ups, we're friends. We just need to get it over with and move on, right? A year had obviously changed him. There was no double entendre, no smutty remarks. Amazed by his maturity, she pulled away from him, revealing herself to the overly cold, possibly deliberately cold, air conditioning. Hallgrim tried his best not to look down, but the tendons in his neck pulsed as if they were tearing.
Jesus.
Sweat dripped from his hairline, and Ash sighed. Just look before you burst blood vessel. He looked down at her, eyebrows lifted. Wowzers, those are the best sweater berries I've seen outside of Nips Chesticle, the sheriff of Gash Gulch from Midnight Ploughboy. He whistled. Killer on the streets, killer tween the sheets, eh, Ash?
Wow.
Against her better nature, Ash just rolled her eyes. Thank you. I know that in your own borderline problematic personality, you're at least trying to be complimentary. What is that digging into me? Hallgrim shrugged. Would you believe that in the year I haven't seen you, I had a new USB port installed down there? Asher pushed him across the bed and he landed in a heap on the other side of the room. "Why you?" Asher shouted. "Of all scummiest people I could have gone back in time and found R. Kelly, Lauren Boebert, Hitler, or the worst criminals of all time, writers who write a scene in a TV show with a phone conversation, but neither of the characters say goodbye, and yet still understand when to hang up phone. Why did it have to be you?"
I like how they're worse than Hitler.
Dude's really caught up on this, but not the eclipse.
Look, we all have our crosses to bear. Maybe you were just drawn to me somehow. You know, the groin wants what the groin wants, they say. Asher went to pull her dagger from her sheath, only for Hallgrim's oily, Speedo nearly wearing employee to burst through the door. "Hey, you don't interrupt an artist at work," Hallgrim shouted at him. "I was about to start slinging paint at my favourite canvas."
Oh my god, that's so disgusting. Ugh. I'm gonna use it.
"You were more likely to be playing with own brush, Spanksy," Ash pulled out.
Spanksy!
Ash pulled on her clothes.
Level of genius. A new level of genius has happened.
Fuck.
Ash pulled on her clothes as Hallgrim wrapped himself in a robe. "Sir, they're back," the attendant said, and Asher suddenly became aware that people were screaming from outside, and it wasn't the usual screams from a sexatorium. Hallgrim looked up at Asher with a look of panic. "Splicers," he hissed. The gormless townsfolk of the colony were lined up down the main parade, down the main parade as a group of splicers, Veletaen soldiers spliced with animal DNA, like Animorphs but cooler because I wrote it, rode in on horses.
Right.
That's as far as I'm going to go with the description. There was a gorilla man in a small bowler hat, a rhino man carrying a boombox, a woman with the head of an eagle and the body of an eagle. Or an eagle woman, I guess, is the efficient way to write that. A wolfkin for all the furries out there. A younger snake woman. A dog man who was scratching his own head with his foot as he sat atop the horse. And at the head of the pack, an alligator who was even bigger than Oryx. As soon as they dismounted, the horses stood up and rubbed their aching backs because they were splicers too, but unfortunately weren't unionised, and so were subject to mistreatment in the workplace. Join or form a union, people. It's the only way your bosses will take care of you, mainly due to fear.
The local 69 420.
The alligators stepped forward, and it was then that Asher noticed that they were all carrying weapons. Laser rifles, laser swords, laser Tech 9s, and in the hand of their leader, a large bazooka that, while it wasn't a laser bazooka per se, it did have a laser sight on it.
Nice. Laser-sighted bazooka.
Also, ding.
Fucking brilliant. I mean...
You need it for precision work.
Yeah, you need some precision bazookaing. Yeah.
"They are armed to the teeth," Asher whispered to Hallgrim in awe. Hallgrim pulled his hood up over his easily recognisable Norn face. "Yeah, this point in history is around the same time that combined powers want to go to war with a reap. Tensions are quite high and every man and dog are packing on this planet. Such as that dog man," he pointed, and Asher clipped him round the head. A silence fell over the crowd as the alligator levelled the bazooka at the people. "Yo, yo, yo, party people and animal people who also like to party, make some noise!"
Ow, ow!
"For those newcomers to our colony and those in the back or with hearing difficulties, my name is Grenix. I and my Splicer boys, much like some of you Veletaeans assembled here, and also like some of the human and Norn families standing with them, come from rough rider families that fought for our freedom, 'cause freedom is trip as shit, yo. And our peeps ripped and teared in a war through the universe and came together bonded in religion by the spilling of our blood. Ain't that right, Rex?" He looked over to the dog man. "Sorry, bro, what were you saying?" the dog man said with his tongue in his butt.
He's got more important things to do.
"Never mind, my dog. You go to town on that brown gold."
Jesus.
Now, this gangster gator, the straight up double G, here to spit the truth. We gotta join the movement to take down these reap threatening the peace. You know what they all say. To keep the peace, you gotta keep the gator gangster shooting, be it the truth or bullets. He laughed. Man, that was a trip, G. Write that down, Valis. The female snake sighed and brought out a notepad labelled Grenix's rap lyrics and slowly wrote something down.
How is the snake writing?
She's a snake
woman.
Snake
woman.
Does she have arms?
Yeah. There's not really much point in
regular
her being a
arms
snake.
or T-Rex size?
She's got a snake face and she's a snake slicer.
She's got a snake body with arms hanging off of it, human arms, fully human, and fully human legs dangling off of it.
Yeah, exactly.
He couldn't make me any hornier.
That's Valis. Hallgrim nudged Asher. Oryx's sister, the one he had to kill. Now I'm a reasonable man, Gator, so I want to talk to the mayor so that I can take this here township under my protection, like I have the other 5 on the colony, so that we can all join in this religion of glorious battle and likely get our faces shot off. A confused whisper rippled across the crowd as the people looked at each other. Ooh, Asher nodded. He's mentally deficient, I understand now. Look, love, he may have all the charisma of a hemorrhoid suppository, but that moron has developed a big following, mainly due to how scared people are, Hallgrim muttered.
Why would a suppository? Why would it have charisma?
It hasn't!
But, what? All right, go.
These people need guidance, and the only person offering any resistance to them is... Oh, here he is. A large, bumbling man with a flop sweat and a bad comb-over named Seldrick Skids stood out of the crowd and walked into the centre of the assembly, wringing his hands. Unfortunately, somewhere down the street, a little girl by the name of Cutesy Pinchercheek was practising her tuba for the big college sports ball game halftime show at the weekend. And as she played some Oompa music, it synchronised perfectly with his footsteps to make poor Mayor Skids seem all the more ineffectual. Hello again, Mr. Grenix, the mayor said, sweating profusely.
Third voice.
Our answer is the same as last time. It's a no, I'm afraid. Grenix stepped forward and cast a huge shadow over the nervous Seldrick. No, is it? Well, we'll see, Mr. Mayor, he yelled out to the crowd. Tell you what, homesteaders, you got a day to change your brainwaves and get in line with the big dog. Not you, Rex, sit down. Rex's pricked ears went down and he whined in disappointment. Aww. And if you don't change your mind, I'm gonna kill you all before you have the honour of dying for me in battle. Seldrick cleared his throat in an uncharacteristic display of bravery. That is to say, I make the decisions for the people here, and the answer will still be... Grenix snapped forward in a flash before Seldrick could even finish what we were all sure would have been a rousing heroic defence and not just more babbling and nervousness. And when Grenix stood back up, Asher saw that the man that was standing there sort of just ended at the ribcage now. The townsfolk screamed and exclaimed as Grenix spat up Seldrick's blazer and wiped his snout with it. One day, motherfuckers! He turned the bazooka into the crowd and fired a spray of pellets into the masses. One landed in Hallgrim's hands and he unwrapped it to reveal a bright yellow t-shirt with Grenix...
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
With Grenix and his crew on the front, with tour dates for his new rap gig, Gator Jams. So fucking stupid.
Gator Jams?
That fucking rules.
That's dope.
Well, I found our next date, Ash. I would rather date Rex the dog man. Makes sense.
He knows how to anal-ling.
Makes sense. He's got a long tongue and low enough standards, Hallgrim muttered.
Yep. Damn.
I'd consider it as well. Gredix gestured for the horsemen to get back down on all fours. They groaned and complained, and then let the others back into their saddles and galloped off into the mid-afternoon haze. As the town strip cleared out, leaving Asher and Hallgrim in the middle of a cloud of dust, Hallgrim leaned in. So, remember I said none of our friends from our time were here? The pair walked past a wooden sign that stated, "All comers welcome," and up to a small shack at the end of a swampy road 3 miles outside of town. The building was surrounded by an allotment of fruits and vegetables that were being grown. There were cucumbers in the garden, but which plot were they in? Go back 2 episodes to find out which of you are right and which of you have my eternal scorn. In amongst the dirt...
This is just forever now. This is never ending.
It's a holy war at this point. It's just, there's no end.
In amongst the dirt, on his knees in the mid-afternoon sun, was a huge crocodile in dungarees with a handkerchief knotted on his head. He spun around to see the 2 intruders on his little plot of land and stood up, immediately walking towards Hallgrim. The cyborg frowned, and Asher took a step to place herself between them, hand darting to the dagger at her waist. "Hello, Oryx. We have to talk," Asher said. The younger Oryx flashed a smile at them. "And, as I told your humorous friend on numerous occasions, I am not interested. I don't make bedfellows with Norn, whatever yarn he spins. I mean no offence by that, obviously." "Bedfellow? Mate, we're buds and all in the future, but I ain't looking to go down to your below bayou if you catch my drift." "Shut up," Asher hissed, before turning back to Oryx. "So, you have met this Hallgrim before, which explains why you dislike him. Wait, he didn't try to put penis in you, did he?" Oryx laughed. "No, the ridiculous miscreant simply implied we were best friends in the future. His lies so transparent they defy all logic, even without considering the preposterousness of time travel. I don't think I could ever be so much as an acquaintance with a Norn. Not after the war." Asher squinted in disbelief. The math just didn't add up. "It has been 3 centuries since Galactic War. What are you talking about?" "Splicers can live extraordinary long lives due to a combination of DNA resequencing and recreational drug use." Oryx went back to gardening. Tilling the earth.
Those are the 2 things.
Tilling the earth with a trowel. "I have a tortoise splicer friend who is approximately a millennia old. I don't mean to be rude, but I have many duties to perform in order to get my harvest down to town. What is it that you require from me?" Asher walked over to the plot of land he had been attending. She hated to pull him from this, when he seemed so peaceful. "There is a man called Granix in town who..." "I know. He and I were soldiers together." Oryx waved a dismissive hand. "Your friend has told me a number of times that he will be the death of those in the town, and that I should challenge him," Oryx sneered. "We were shock troopers used as mindless anger-fueled weapons. I committed heinous obscenities, killed so many. I am not that man anymore." Hallgrim whistled.
Or Gator.
Or Gator Man.
"Crocodile, thank you very much."
You called him an alligator earlier.
You have called him an alligator before.
He's a crocodile, though.
Technically.
In episode 347...
Are we to believe this is some kind of magical reptile that changes species?
Well, she...
I am not a crackpot.
Hallgrim whistled. So is that why you're a giant pussy now? Taking yourself from the people who need you? Maybe if they'd known what a coward you were, they could have spliced you with a January 6er.
Yeah!
Ooh, yeah!
Asher glared at Hallgrim. "Will you?" Hallgrim cleared his throat. "Nah, fuck that, Ash. Let him hear this. He's not pretty enough to be this dumb. He's so stupid, he'd suck a dick for a ride and then still walk back home."
Oh, fuck.
"And you are a juvenile," Oryx hissed over his shoulder. "Your words do not affect me." Hallgrim strolled over to Oryx, crushing the carrots he had pulled from the soil deliberately under his heel, then bent down to whisper, "But going back to town and slipping it to your sister might hurt, eh? I wonder what it'll be like to be spliced with a python twice."
Wow.
Jesus.
Oryx roared and lifted Hallgrim off the ground before slamming him back to the dirt, destroying his entire crop in one hit. Drool dripped from his protruding teeth onto Hallgrim's face, which stared into glassy red eyes that had lost all control. Hallgrim spluttered, choked by the giant claws around his throat. "There you are. There's the guy I knew wouldn't let innocents suffer as he pretends to be old McFucking Donald." As he saw his...
still have that, huh? Still got old McDonald?
It's timeless. As he saw his own reflection in Hallgrim's chrome eye fixture, Oryx recoiled, throwing himself back to the ground and releasing Hallgrim's throat. Asher sighed. "Is this wonderful display of testosterone over? I am very impressed. Yes, big brave men, giant peepees all round."
Totally real.
Oryx's big reptilian hands came up to meet his face. "Why? I tried so hard to escape this. Why would you make me like this?" "I'm sorry, mate. I truly am," Hallgrim said, patting his future friend on the back. "But we can't escape the stepping stones that make us who we are. They're a part of us, and coming to terms with that makes us whole. I've tried, for example, not to be an absolute dynamo in the sack and all-around heartthrob, but I just can't fight nature."
Yeah, I hear that.
"And you're a hero. You're my best friend, and the man I know wouldn't let innocents suffer." Asher lifted some of the crushed vegetables, placed them in Oryx's basket. "Shall we go save your people and your sister, Martha Stewart?" Oryx stood, a darkness to his face as he scowled and strode off. "Let us go." Asher gave Hallgrim the side eye as she followed a ways behind. "You really think tough love was way to go?" He let her walk on and watched her as she joined Oryx. "Is there any other type, Ash?" he muttered to himself. "Yo, this my jam, boy. Play that song louder," Grenix yelled from his table in the saloon, where he played laser cards with his crew.
Laser cards!
"This is a laser piano, sir. I play as loud as the instrument allows," said the laser piano player in the corner. "Look, it's the future. I'm just adding laser to everything now, all right?"
Dude, that's the future. It's all lasers.
The saloon went quiet, apart from the scooting of Grenix's chair across the wooden floor. He marched over to the pianist and snorted out a breath that blew the man's hat clean off. "I was just about to start beatboxing whilst my friend talked about his new nitrous injector on his 64 laser Impala, yo!"
64 laser Impala.
Okay, I'll stop now. "So are you saying that my Anna pals aren't going to be able to listen to the underbeat while I improve upon said song with my lyrical love? And are you an alley hater, broski? This is my township, man. Mine!"
This is a lot to process, Rich.
There were like a Futurama amount of puns in that sentence. I'll have to watch this episode again to get them all.
The pianist started stammering, and Grenix laughed and turned to his crew. Some laughed, but in nervousness, not really into the intimidation techniques. Valis clean got up from her chair and turned towards the door. "I'm done. This isn't leadership, this is kid stuff." Grenix gritted his teeth, and his narrow eyes narrowed even further as he watched Valis push through the doors into the lit street beyond. He nodded to Rex. "You go pull that bitch back in here, dog."
Damn!
Rex shook his jowls, covering his compatriots with slobber, and hopped off the chair after her. But no sooner had he left the saloon, he heard the noise a dog makes when you accidentally tread on its tail, followed by, "Oh, shit." "Rex! Rex!" Grenix called into the night. "Rex, you chasing that cat again? Or is someone holding a laser pointer? Look, that's an actual laser thing, okay?"
So is a laser piano. Look it up.
"Guess again," a growled voice came back from the gloom outside. "You and I have business to confabulate on, Grenix." "Oryx? That you, homie? Grenix laughed, picking up his trucker's cap and his aviator shades and resting them backwards on the top of his head very precariously. I thought you were one with nature and trees and shit, yo. You coming back to the Grenix gang? Something like that. Why don't you join me out here so we can discuss it? Grenix walked into the street, flanked by his followers, surrounding the saloon, and Grenix's small ring of stones he had previously set up to settle any and all disputes, from trade to simple divorce court, were the inhabitants of the other 5 townships of the colony, standing firmly behind Oryx. Grenix stepped down to the street before sauntering into the circle. Well, croco damn, man. You brought all my peeps out to watch me take control. That's thoughtful of you, Oryx, gotta say. Oryx stepped into the ring and took off his reading glasses. I have come to inform you that you are not welcome in this colony anymore, Grenix. Take your repugnant ideas and your terrible white boy gang tendencies and leave. You challenging me, bro? You challenging the warrior?
Rich is into this guy.
Grenix unbuttoned his checkered shirt and threw it to the floor. You try to fuck my sloppy seconds?
What?
I'm sure it'll feel brand new after the first half an inch, Hallgrim yelled.
Damn. God damn.
And Asher elbowed him in the ribs. I am not here to challenge you, Grenix. I'm pointing out that you are no longer welcome in him. Grenix threw his sunglasses at Oryx, who caught them just in time to see the charging alligator through them, who careened into Oryx and took him to the dusty floor. I've been practicing in this ring for the last 9 months, you punk. I fought my way up from nothing. You can't mess with this. Grenix said as he buried his knee into Oryx's ribs. You ain't got the scales to be a leader. You ain't got the foresight, the strategy. Oryx grabbed Grenix's knee and twisted him down with him. You have 2 brain cells and they are fighting for 5th place. I carried you to...
I just imagine, like, Evan having to hear these, like, in real life every day.
I do these 4 voices for all his bedtime stories.
Bedtime stories?
I carried you during the war, Grenix. I won't carry you any further. Grenix got to a knee and pounced on Oryx. The pair locked in a death roll that kicked up a cloud of dust. Asher stood on tiptoes to see what was happening, but could only make out the shapes. I cannot separate them. I cannot see who is who. Hallgrim shrugged, and Asher noticed he had somehow secured popcorn from somewhere, offering her a piece. Why don't you just yell, see you later, and see how each one responds? Interesting fact, the Discord made that joke 2 days after I wrote that story, and I was going to tell them that they did it, but I didn't want to give them credit for it.
Fuck you, people who pay us.
I would say great minds think alike.
That's right.
Your mother should have taken it in the face. Asher shook her head at him.
Nice.
Should we get involved? Hallgrim considered. If we do that, Oryx loses face, and we need him to take control of this colony. Why? Asher said. Why is that more important than just taking Grenix down? You do remember where he and I were when you first met us, right? Hallgrim said through a mouthful of popcorn. Oryx told me a while back about what led him to be incarcerated. It ain't pretty, kid, but it's making a lot of sense now. He's got a rough road ahead of him, and this is the first step to that. And you are pushing him towards that? Asher was mad, remembering how she herself wound up in the demon dimension. This is wrong, Hallgrim. It's necessary, Hallgrim sighed. Oryx and I agreed when we first started travelling through time. We keep each other on our paths. Our friendship, our destination is important. I won't let anything stop us freeing Hume, or saving Kellen, or grabbing Florgo on the way for some reason. I won't lose my friends again. I can't lose... He looked at her. As she realised what he was saying, she straightened slightly. Hallgrim, what do you... The assembled crowd cheered, and the pair of them were doused in a sudden torrent of blood as Oryx tore Grenix's tail clean off and threw it into the distance. Rex the dogman hurried after it, tongue hanging out. Yield, Grenix. Oryx and he were both bloody and battle-scarred, breathing hard, an alligator tooth protruding out of Oryx's forearm. I won't ask again, but I won't kill you. Grenix is too much of a real G for anything less than my first place, brother. He clutched his arm, which was bleeding profusely from a slash of Oryx's claws, then charged, head down at Oryx, who sidestepped. He tripped over Oryx's trailing tail and fell, smashing his head in with a sickening squelch of blood and bone on the stone ring.
Ugh.
Oryx bent down to his former friend, taking his clawed hand in his. Grenix, I'm sorry this happened. No sweat, friendo, Grenix muttered through a snout full of blood and gore. I go to a better place, to the great Def Jam in the sky, where rims are always spinning, and booties are thicker than a submarine door, and grills are golden forever. Take me home, Tupac. He died in Oryx's arm, and nobody was sad. People, Oryx said to the assembly, if you will have me, I intend to unite us all under one banner, to tell Alima and Norn and the Velit that we no longer wish to fight their wars, that the Reap are no enemies of ours. We can finally be free. A cheer went up, but credits did not roll. 9 months later. Hallgrim was pissed, and Asher knew it. What has you so low in corners of mouth? He put down the pen he was doodling with and stared at Asher. Ain't it obvious? We should have rifted by now. We got Lizard Lips back on his path. Our chapter here should have been finished. We're already 10 pages in, Asher. What is this, a Jeff Pennington special?
God damn it. I saw it coming and it still hit me like a train.
She smiled and continued monitoring the scanners. This is first time since the day I was lost that I feel truly content. I have had no need to sheath my dagger in months. It is wonderful to have break from it all. Yeah, but aren't you missing the others? Hallgrim said. Asher nodded. Of course, but we have been helping Oryx to petition Alima to leave us alone. Hallgrim sighed. That just makes it worse, Ash. It doesn't work. The pillars will turn up and they'll glass this planet and kill everyone on it, just like they did before. Asher got up, walked over to him and wrapped an arm around his shoulder. She kissed him on the cheek. You have said this until you are blue in face. He does not care. I don't care. The people don't care. They have to try. They do not want to give up home. Let them have hope. The scanner sounded, and Asher gave Hallgrim a panicked look. She rushed to the readout, which showed a solitary blip on the screen. An ambassador? She asked. Just wait. Hallgrim kept his eyes down. The blip on the screen got larger, and Asher dared hope, but suddenly there were 2 more, then 5, then 10. Hallgrim stood and moved to the scanner, placing his hand on her shoulder. I'm sorry, Ash, I really am, he whispered. Oryx rushed into the comm shed and took a place beside them. Is this it, Hallgrim? He asked. I have Valis sending people to the shelters, and our soldiers are ready to engage. Mate, I'm sorry. It's not going to be enough. You're the best friend I could have hoped for, in any timeline. Hallgrim hugged Oryx, then went and sat next to Asher. Making for the door, Oryx turned back to them. Asher was sobbing, the colony meaning as much to her as it did to him. Don't worry, everything will be... A pulsing rift of violet electricity ripped open next to Asher and Hallgrim, pulling them both from their seats and dragging Oryx towards it. Hallgrim grabbed the back of his chair and Asher's hand, but he could feel himself slipping. Oryx! He shouted, against the noise of rushing air, and then his hand slipped from the chair, and the rift taking them both in an instant. Oryx pulled himself slowly towards the door, but just as he saw the ships in low orbit start to attack the planet with pillars of superheated plasma, he too was sucked into the rift after them. The end.
What? 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 They fell in love.
They did?
They fell in the rift.
They fell in love. Yeah, it's all it takes is to awkwardly hire one of your friends as an escort to make you awaken your latent sexual feelings toward each other.
Yeah. And there's 2 Oryxes in the rifts now.
Yeah, that's what I'm hung up on.
Are we sure about that?
Well, since Rich is writing it, I would say yeah.
I don't believe a single thing that this fucking liar says.
This motherfucker said the order was different earlier. I don't believe
it didn't.
Shit he said.
Yeah, he's a fucking liar. That was great.
Yeah, that was a fucking excellent story.
I did not enjoy writing this one this week. I really
rough.
didn't. Yeah.
You didn't enjoy writing it?
I didn't. I had a really bad time writing this week. I thought that I wasn't going to get it done on time. I thought it was going to be. Do you know how when I joke and say it's shit, and I don't really mean it. I think it's going to be okay. I thought this one was going to be terrible until till yesterday when I rewrote large parts of it.
That's my secret, Rich host. All of my stories are terrible.
No. They're all excellent. I do want to give commendation to Rich for the fact that what was the name of the alligator? He's dead. It doesn't matter. Grenix. Because I was like, oh, that's like Oryx. My brain was being very smart.
Yeah.
But Grenix died having his own hubris.
Yeah.
And his head was smashed on his own fucking rock formation he made for fighting and subjugating people.
Yeah.
Very fucking poetic.
Sometimes you live long enough to become a smashed-faced rock guy. That's Batman said that.
Yeah, I do remember Batman saying that.
I remember him saying that at least twice.
Yeah.
It's almost a catchphrase.
Yeah, everyone knows it.
I just made Grenix Macho Man Randy Savage. For some reason.
Yeah, he was like very rap Macho Man. Like, I got a super wrestler feel, yeah.
It was originally not going to be a Ring of Stones. It was going to be a wrestling ring. And then I was like, I can't make it a wrestling ring because I'm pretty sure at some point someone is going to suggest wrestling as a prompt if they haven't already.
Oh, that's true.
So
that's true, yeah.
Yeah. But like Ash and Hallgrim, I've been sort of like pushing together for a little while now. So, I mean, who doesn't like Hallgrim? He's just an awful person. Why wouldn't you love him?
Bad girls like bad boys. That's all I know.
I love a character with no redeeming quality. It's my favorite.
Yep.
As witnessed by my own stories. That's my favorite.
And by your podcast partners. Hey-o!
Hey-o!
Yeah,
I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Starting with the man in the mirror.
That's all you can do for the podcast. We will get shut down. I fucking love that story, Rich. You're always knocking it out of the park, man.
Thanks, man.
He makes us look like shit. I hate him.
I agree.
And he's a liar.
Thanks. We're all liars. We tell stories.
I don't saying my story's true. What the fuck?
I don't believe. Well, here's why Rich is a liar, right? Because he's a good storyteller in that he'll push you into thinking something even when he's not telling the story.
That's true.
So when he says like, "Oh, there's 2 of them," like I don't buy it.
Here's why Rich is a fucking scumbag, right?
Yeah.
I think you meant colonizing fucking scumbag. You're gonna tell him about how I make you spend too much money on Lego, aren't you?
Yeah, well, everybody knows that already.
Well, we should probably go to commercial before Legos get brought up.
All right, yeah, we'll go for a break and we'll be right back. welcome, gangbangers. I don't know why I said that.
Wait, what?
Why not?
What type of gangbang are we talking about?
Yeah,
whatever
which
one you want it to be.
You know which one we want.
Then there you go. That's who it is. Put your keys in the bowl because you're back for part 2. And it is Josh's turn to read.
That's what the Post-it note says.
That's what the Post-it note says.
Allegedly.
It does. I'm telling you, it's going to save our asses next week.
Yeah, best intentions and all.
Shut up and read, Josh.
Okay, my story.
Damn.
Cranberry juice. I titled my story this week.
What the fuck?
I know. It's called Time Temple Tumult.
Nice. It's a Star Trek TOS episode.
Yeah, that's right. It's her! Shouted a filthy, degenerate peasant, poor at Ugla. Her rune magic to enhance her all-sea ball in order to contact the past was fading, but it had already done more damage than an Iceman in a pre-warp civilization. Sign my Bible! Screamed another. Sign my titties, which have John 3:16 and Killigrew font and Stone Cold tattooed on them! Shouted another. Ugla slumped down in disappointment, even as the crowd slowly frothed itself up into a cum frenzy over her use of magic. Sign my dick, which has a tattoo of a pair of tits with John 3:16 and Killigrew font. Enough! Ugla shouted, standing up on her feet. The crowd fell silent as the John 3:16 boob lady sheathed her massive sweater slammers. Ooh, shouted a guy in the background.
It was me.
Now here is where I could probably call them breast bazookas or big bad booby bazookas or boobzookas and get away with an easy out for this week's prompt. But I assure you, we here at Insert Podcast Name Here respect our audience too much to take the easy way out.
We never have before.
Even if we were up all last night procrastinating writing this story and too busy looking at your sweet mama's boobzookas because she won't stop texting us her chest yams and saying what a disappointment of a child you've become.
Hey!
Don't you backwoods hillbilly dirt humpers have magic here? Ugla shouted. Pardon my insolence, oh magic one, a tiny gnome boy said quietly. But we ain't had magic here since the great mana drought. Some call it the mana burn, but we all decided that was too close to the plot of Star Trek Discovery and didn't want to be associated with such bad writing. We here are good writers, said the gnome boy, looking directly at the camera fourth wallery. Why can I use magic then? Ugly asked. The crowd all shrugged and started murmuring. I just thought you were a big-titted space Jesus, one orc said from the background.
Fair.
It's because you are special, a familiar voice cut through the murmuring idiots of the crowd. There stood Reese's the Wise.
What?
Well, there stood Reese's the Wise wearing another face beard and mustache. Another fake beard and mustache and an eye patch. It is I, he proclaimed to the crowd. Your deacon of divination, the mage of mischief, the wizard of Waverly Place himself. Feces the disguise.
Genius. No one will ever know.
The crowd bowed down and began to chant in various tongues. As feces passed, many dropped to their knees and prayed. Kiss my baby, Feces! Screamed one onlooker, throwing her baby at Feces, but missing him completely as the baby landed in a cucumber vendor's basket just in time for the third quarter to run out.
Cucumbers.
Yep. Reese's, sighed Ugla. You sent us to the wrong time! You fucking idiot! You sent us to the future! That's Feces the disguise, my dear. Reese's waved his hands. and this is my flock. We have long awaited the return of the magical one who will help save our lands. Mew, 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 Puffcat said. Yeah, you look exactly like Reese's, but with an eye patch and another bearded mustache, Demi said. Plus, you didn't even take the tag off the fake beard and mustache. And the tag says, Mephismo's wizard costumes and disguise beards. I don't know who this Reese's was it? Reese's said. I don't know who this person is, but judging by his name, I can tell he is extremely handsome and has a totally real giant wiener. And that totally real giant wiener still works. That's something magic users in the futures can tell by just hearing a name. It's a real power. Don't look it up. Look, Agla said as everyone in the crowd began to look around as if she was ordering them to look. No, I mean, listen, she said again as everyone in the crowd began to put their ears to the ground or strain to hear something. What do you want us to do here, Reese's? Ugla finally yelled. You wouldn't have sent us here without some stupid motive, or you need a new wizard sleeve fleshlight, or you lost your damn wizard keys here, or something completely stupid and pointless. Well, if you were looking to get back to the past, you must first find the Temple of Time, VC said. Everyone in the crowd whispered, Time Temple, all at once, like some weird cult.
From Zelda.
Zelda. Rip off of Zelda. There you will find what you need in order to master time and complete your quest, VC said. Complete the quest, the crowd whispered in unison. So saith the Time King, Feces raised his hand. Time King, shouted the crowd. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's time for the 3 p.m. time orgy. Everyone to my bungalow, Feces yelled. Time orgy, time orgy, time orgy, shouted the crowd.
Time orgy, time.
As they did a conga line to Feces' bungalow. Oh, you know I be bringing these cucumbers, said the cucumber man from last episode. Mew, 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 Puffcat said, rubbing his snoot and shaking his head. He didn't even tell us which way to go, Debbie said, looking like that little girl from that one gif. You know the one.
Why not both?
The one with
Go west, young man! Feces shouted over all the shouts of time orgy from like a football field away. That's American football, Rich. It's 100 yards, about the same size as a soccer field, but not as wide. And its players have much shorter lifespans due to their brains being scrambled up like a plate of brown eggs at Meatbox. If you can get a ticket. If you see Anya Taylor-Joy next time you go, Rich, please give her my number. And also be sure to run, because I'm pretty sure Meatbox is the menu situation, and your ass is getting hanged.
Okay.
Got all that?
Oh, the gif
got
is
it.
the
I had
little
the pen
blonde
next to me.
girl.
Oh, the one with the
Just,
teeth.
Huh?
Yeah, the teeth. The one with the teeth.
She's
Meanwhile, Axel... What?
no, it doesn't matter.
Rich is always pointing out when people have teeth for some reason.
Weird. It's super weird. Like, yeah, she has teeth, Rich. Meanwhile, Axel the Dragon soared through the air like he did on the cover of Wife Bones' seminal album entitled Hi Honey, I'm Bone. As he landed, Axoon released his golden reins, and he felt like himself again, more whole. He gasped for air and tried to find his bearings. They were at the temple again, on the dragon perch he had been standing on for days earlier, that being one of the last things he remembered clearly. Now, you stay here, Axel, darling. Mommy just has to slip into something a little more shorter, Axmoon said. She waved her hands around as green magic zidded and jolted off of her body. The magic was powerful. So powerful when the green haze settled, Axel saw that Axmoon had turned herself into a dwarf maiden. She was shorter, obviously, but also much more homely. Not the comely whips and chains princess Axel had riding on his back for the past few weeks. Now you stay here, Axel. Axwoon held up her staff and made a bleep bleep sound with her mouth like a car alarm would. This caused Axel's golden reins to turn into chains and now glow a bright yellow as they too crackled with magical power. Axel winced as a bolt zitted past his nose and stung his nostrils. "Honey, I'm home!" shouted Axwoon in dwarf form. "Ah, Ruby," a deep dwarvish voice called from below. "My sweet, sweet Ruby." "My sweet, sweet Gunk," said Axwoon as she marched over to Gunk and planted a straight-up first base kiss into his dwarven mouth. "Ruby Rubbleborn, you are something else," Gunk said as he dropped his work hammer from the sheer PG-13-ness of the kiss. "Oh, my sweet, I brought you some sourdough bread for my very hungry adventure man. In here all day, tinkering and thinkering, making inventions to better Darnos," Ruby said with a bat of her lashes as she held out a loaf of delicious sourdough bread. "You're a real keeper, Ruby," Gunk said, sounding happier than he ever had been. "So how's the invention coming along, honey?" she asked, running a finger over the quantum communicator. "I almost have it repaired. I'll need a few more parts, which I think I can get, and to test it out, of course. But once I do, I'll be able to contact anyone at any time." Gunk turned around and looked at an all-see picture of he and Duncan singing at a shanty bar. Good thing it wasn't an all-here ball, too, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
The end. Next week, I'll have a better story. I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding. "And what of the modifications I recommended?" Axwoon pretended to fiddle with the transistor as her back was turned to Gunk. She side-eyed him, waiting for his reaction. If he didn't agree to the modifications, she'd have to get creative. "I did the maths on those calculations, and I think it might be feasible to draw magical energy through the device, but we need to get it just right. Any miscalculation and we might blow up the entire lab, maybe even in the entire continent. Just no way of knowing what it would do." Gunk continued to work on the communicator. "Peppercorn would be good at that type of math, of course, and Chickpea could tell us about the magical output, but..." He trailed off. "Hey, unless you're a secret wizard and can do that kind of quantum mathematics," Gunk said jokingly as he turned around to smile at Ruby. She fake laughed. "No, not a secret wizard," she said as her fake smile turned to a frown. "For now, I think we just focus on it as a means of communication alone," Gunk said. "And then I can warn Duncan," he said quietly to himself. Outside of the temple, a pair of gnomish goggles focused in on the desolate ancient temple that lay only a couple of miles away. On its perch sat a red dragon trying to find a comfortable position to sleep with his golden chains. Below was the ancient temple belonging to a long-gone sect of whatever cult or religion or D&D group or stamp club which had previously built it and had long been forgotten about in time. Now, apparently, it was home to Axwoon for some unknown reason or another. "She's there, all right," Peppercorn said, handing the goggles over to Sid. Sid zoomed the goggles in and saw much the same as Peppercorn did. He then passed the goggles to Fred, who zoomed in again. "So, how do you want to do this?" Fred asked, now handing the goggles over to Chickpea, who didn't even use them, but passed them right over the cliff nearby. "Chick!" Peppercorn yelled. Whisper yelled. "Chick!" There we go. Peppercorn Whisper yelled. "Those were a gift from Dad. Remember, I got the gyro goggles and you got the 5.0 cherry red bone stang with the T-tops and the all-C tape deck? Yeah, you got, screwed on that birthday, brother," Chickpea said, filing her nails with a magically conjured nail file. "Look, we don't need any fancy plans," she said, finally blowing out a bubble of magic gum. We always do plans and they suck. We suck at plans. Let's just go in there and fuck her up the butt with a magic sword and lightning and junk, and then we'll make her tell us what she's been up to, and maybe we can contact this ugly person. Ugla, Sid corrected. But Chick's right. I don't much feel like planning this out. I came here to fuck shit up and watch Chick chew bubblegum, and it looks like Chick's all out of bubblegum. Sid said with a smile.
Very good.
Yes, Fred said, standing up and levying a heavy war hammer over his shoulder. We can't, teleport in, Chick said. There's no doubt a magical ward up. And I detect the detection spell, so we can't really just walk right up and ring the ding-donger without it alerting whoever's in there.
Is that the official name, the ding-donger?
Yeah, the ding-donger. Ding-dong! The flamingos looked out over the 2 miles of desert leading to the temple. It offered no protection from sight or sun. It may as well have been 2,000 miles of desert. Can't you, put a cloaking spell on us or something? Fred asked. Yeah, I can, but, it'll be like walking around in a sleeping bag. You won't be able to see out of the cloak, just like they won't be able to see into the cloak. See, how it works is the idea is that if you can see out of the spell detection can see into it. All right, Sid snapped. We get it. But it's the only way. Chick, please conjure us some cloaking bags. We'll have to communicate flawlessly so we don't wander off into the desert and die. Soon the flamingos were wandering aimlessly toward and away and in all different directions out of the temple. Where are you guys? Peppercorn yelled. Over here, Fred said. You can't just say over here, you ding-dong, Pep snapped back. I don't even know where I'm going, let alone where you're going. This is stupid, Sid said. We should have planned this better. Just then, Fred let out a monstrous assquake of a fart. They all started laughing hysterically. Shh, quiet. We're going to get busted, Chickpea said. She sniffed in. Oh my God, Fred, what the hell? Did you just shit your pantaloons? Wait, Sid said. Keep farting, Fredo. Fred let out another butt blast. Follow your nose, boys and girls, Fred said. Ugh, he said as his nose cracked against the hard surface. I think we're here. He said as the rest of the flamingos crashed into him. Fred, you really need to go see an apothecary, dude, Peppercorn said, gagging. Suddenly, inside the temple, a huge magical explosion rocked the fairy foundations of the ancient stone. What the fucking fuck? Shouted Gunk as he tried to prevent his tools from falling to the ground. They found us, Ruby said quietly. Who found us? Were we being looked for? Gunk yelled. Gunky, I need you to listen to me. It's my father. He doesn't want me to be with you. He said I have to marry a dwarven prince, and he sent out bounty hunters to find me. Gunky, please, we have to leave. I can't stand the thought of not being with you. Axewound was really pouring it on now. Oh, okay, my love. I'll get you. I'll get us out of this, Gunk said as he grabbed one of his inventions off the rack, the Bazooka. Built during the Topless Wars, the Bazooka was meant to instantly and effectively fire a bra covering up any uncovered titty. Of course, we all know who won those wars. The fans. Hold it right there, Axe. What? Sid said, stopping mid-sentence, perplexed. Gunk, what the hell are you doing here? You, Gunk shouted up at Sid. You can't have her, he screamed, firing the Bazooka. Its recoil sent him stumbling backwards as a wad of over-the-shoulder boulder holster shot out at twice the speed of sound. It found its mark, landing right in Peppercorn's face, smothering him and knocking him back off the wall. He hit the sand below with a thud. Nice, he said, sniffing in deeply. Gunk opened the bazooka's chamber and loaded in another bra shell. Agent Agent Projectile Tour was written on the side. That's a terrible. What the hell, man? Sid said as his superhero landed on the temple floor. He unsheathed socks and held the sword out in front of him, the thin edge of the sword bisecting his now very serious and angry face. The gunk fired again. The projectile was headed straight for Sid, but Sid didn't even flinch. He held socks firm as the bra hit the sword and was cut in twain. Each cup fluttered down harmlessly to the floor. "Gunk!" Fred shouted, landing next to Sid. "Where's Axewound? She's in here somewhere. Listen to us. We're your friends." Gunk looked over toward Ruby, who was cowering in the corner, tears running down her face. "Who the fuck is Axewound?" "You can't have my Ruby. Tell her father she won't marry the prince." "What the fuck are you talking about?" Sid yelled. "Oh no, I think he has monk rabies. A case of the murky jerkies, the old squirrely shirleys, the foam flim-flams. A case of the..." Chickpea said. "Yeah, we got it," Fred yelled. He raised his hammer and swung it toward Gunk. He was only aiming to maim and not kill Gunk. Not kill, but Gunk was a seasoned brawler. He used his bazooka to shoot himself up in the air, Counter-Strike style, and then he 360 no-scoped Fred in the back of the head with a roundhouse kick. Gunk's metal boots clanged against the bone and flesh of Fred's skull, instantly knocking him unconscious. Fred slid face first across the floor, stopping only when his lifeless body hit a work table. Chickpea shot a bubble spell at Ruby in hopes of protecting her and also capturing her. The flamingos could interrogate her, but just as she went to cast a spell, her staff was knocked out of her hands. "What the actual shit?" she said. She looked down at Ruby and saw Ruby had made a rune in the air, which she was now quickly making disappear. "That magical bitch!" Chickpea yelled. "Hey guys, I think Axe..." But it was too late. A beam above her head had already given way and landed right on Chickpea's little gnome noggin. She too fell to the floor out cold. "Just me and you now, buddy," Gunk said as he got between Ruby and Sid. Ruby ran up to Gunk and held onto his arm, crying as she did. Under her other arm was the quantum communicator. "Wait, that's the..." Sid said. Just then, the sound of a lone nose trumpet bellowed on the wind. Sid and Gunk and Ruby looked up to see a great winged creature silhouetted against the bright light outside. There, in all his majesty, was Flyman? Sid said.
Hey!
"Oh, hey, guys." But before he could finish, Flyman vomited all over the place. "Oh, God!" Gunk yelled. But Ruby was directly under the spew stream. Flyman's acid chunk spew landed on her arm, burning her down to the bone. She let out a horrid scream as she dropped the quantum communicator. As it hit the ground, it broke with many seemingly important pieces flying in all directions. "Fly! Fucking fly, motherfuck!" Ruby yelled. "My love!" Gunk ran back over and held her. "We have to get out of here." "Flyman? You are the king," Sid said as he saluted Flyman. "I got airsick flying over here. Sorry for all the honkage," Flyman said daintily. As Gunk and Ruby exited the temple, Ruby looked back at Sid. For a brief second, her face transformed like she was some kind of clay face or something. It returned to looking like Axewound. Her eyes lit up with green magical power as she winked at Sid, and then turned back to wince and whinge in pain, again looking like Ruby Rubbleborn. To be continued.
Whoa!
God damn! That was action-packed! That was action-packed.
Axewound,
Yeah.
you bitch!
You bitch!
Playing my boy Gunk's heart like this?
Gunk's gonna get heartbroken, man. Right?
Yeah.
It's like the only way, right?
No, she'll make Axewound makes a fucking cloning machine. It turns into Stefan Axewonde.
Axewonde.
She's gonna stay with Gunk.
Just gonna write that down real quick. There we go. Oh man, that was a fun one to write.
Shit's heating up.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's all kinds of shit going on.
I like the split narrative now.
Yeah.
Feces.
Feces the disguise.
I mean, great new character.
Yeah, totally new. Not
Totally
Completely unrelated to all previous characters.
Yeah, totally not Reese's, as he said.
I didn't
A totally real new character.
I didn't even put that Feces Reese's stuff together. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's too subtle. That's the way I wrote it. Too subtle.
That's genuinely so fucking clever, though. Feces the disguised. Fuck.
I mean, he's got such different qualities, including buying fake beards.
Yeah. That's the difference.
It's a totally new character.
Yeah, it's the subtlety in the writing that really makes these stories.
Time for a time. And he's big into Congo. Time for a time. Orgy. Time for a time. Orgy.
Time for a time. Orgy. Cucumber man's throwing cucumbers back to passing out cucumbers for the orgy.
He's fucking bullseye no-scoping people in the holes with cucumbers.
That's part of the gig. You gotta be good at it.
You gotta have a good right arm. For many reasons.
That was fucking sick, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great, dude.
Flyman is, as always, the true hero of the story.
Yep. Accidentally. I think that my favorite joke was that he got airsick flying over.
He's a fly.
He can fly. Like, why? How could he get airsick, right?
He is just a doofus all the way around.
He's so pathetic. Even as a fly, he gets airsick.
He's such a fucking worthless piece of shit.
Josh and I are in a race to the bottom with the characters of Flyman and Pavlov Flinch to figure out how low we can go.
How can we cathartically write our depression into a character even more?
Pretty much.
What does that say? What does that say then? That I'm adjusted?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, I do impressions of Hitler.
You're totally.
Oh, no, wait, I do impressions of Hitler.
Well, you do have Hallgrim as a character. That's in the competition somewhere.
He's depraved, but he is a good person.
Yeah.
Pavlov Flinch has accidentally done things that are good before.
That's not being a good person.
Does that make you a good person? I don't know.
Accidentally good is not good.
Dial our 1-900 numbers. We have two of them. One for if Pavlov Flinch is a good person and one for not.
And one for if we have three. One for if you want Reese's to wish you a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Johnny.
There's a secret fourth one that just has Flyman tell you all of the horrifically depressing shit about his life. And if you hang up, he calls you back.
He charges himself for the callback.
It's like his version of the Samaritans. When you phone up suicidal, you hear how bad things can truly get.
They don't try to talk you out of suicide. They just are like, well, you could be this guy.
Yeah, exactly, and it's 100% effective.
Yeah, and everyone's like, damn, I do have it pretty good.
We need to set up that Reese's birthday line. Happy birthday, Johnny.
It's always Johnny, no matter who it is.
It's still
Johnny.
A robotic voice.
Like
the machine is just broken on the other.
Johnny. Yeah, we need to do that.
Please type out your
per
name.
call.
Happy birthday! Insert name here.
It has to be an even more random name, like Gertrude. A name that no one has. We don't want to accidentally catch the real Johnnies. Happy birthday.
Yeah, we don't want to give them a free ride. Happy birthday, Florgo.
Oh, wait. I have got a piece of shit character.
Oh yeah, Florgo's like a real piece of shit though. Like he's a real world bad guy.
Yeah. Does that make him even worse?
Yeah.
He's a nice guy,
so.
quote unquote.
He's an incel.
Yeah. Kind of is.
He's on his way.
He's a little bit more pathetic than the other pathetic guy who redeemed himself.
Lionel's not pathetic, man.
He was pretty pathetic.
He's pathetic.
You can't write a character as being pathetic for jokes, and then when we call him that, get mad.
But yeah, but I mean, he got like cool. Like he grew up.
He became cool.
He's pathetic,
which is great.
in a totally real way, rather than being pathetic for being a sack of shit incel.
Yeah, he lives in a universe. He's just normal, but in the universe with like fucking gunslinging cowboys and shit, like that makes you pathetic, you know.
Yeah, it's
but
just
only relatively. Yeah,
but not to a Humie, not to be convinced with.
Humie. Yeah. This is very confusing.
This is all very confusing.
We're getting convoluted.
Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Some say third time's the charm. Some say other things about part threes of episodes. We're back!
What? Part 3. Number 3.
I didn't have anywhere
Doing
where that
a
sentence
3.
was going. Jeff, it's your turn. I hear you've got a humdinger of a story that's 14 pages long. Because
It's big.
This dude wrote 2 stories this week, like he's gonna get extra credit or some shit.
not.
You get punished if you write a big story on this podcast.
you do.
Yes!
You do. For this series, I think you've written longer stories than me consistently.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, I have. I'm the new Rich
Man.
Masters.
Oh, I feel sorry for you.
At least you're not a fucking liar.
I've not lied to the audience yet.
No, never.
I don't think Jeff is capable of lying.
Wait a minute.
Point out one instance of me lying. You're too lazy,
when
so
Jeff
I get
lied,
away
You
with
said
it.
Rio was dead.
He was.
He was.
He was. He got better.
Yeah, he got better.
He Darth Mauled. He's better now.
Right, take it away. Take us to Spooky Vision.
All right, the name of my story is Convergence of Paths, a.k.a. the story finally stops farting around.
Damn.
Sweat trickled down Jason Grace's twisted, anguished face. His eyes shook in their sockets as he stared unblinkingly, watching the sweat droplet fall from his brow and instantly be snapped up and devoured by a ravenous snake less than a foot from his face. It hissed as it coiled back down to the ground into the swirling, shapeless mass of hundreds of thousands of snakes that stretched as far as the eye could see in every direction below him. He was dangling by a further fraying knot of rope tied around his ankles, each minute movement of his body causing the thread to untangle further and his body to sink ever lower into the sea of starving serpents which waited impatiently for their screaming, wriggling meal to be delivered to them. They slithered and coiled wetly around one another, hissing and bearing their dripping venomous fangs up at Jason the closer he came to falling. He wanted to call for help, to pray to a god he didn't believe in, any god, any religion to save him, to deliver him from this living hell, but no words could escape his chapped lips. He knew that any extra movement would snap the rope and it would all be over. But it was yet still inevitable that fate would come to pass. and hours, maybe days passed as he dared not scream and yet internally could not cease it. A never-ending twilight of horror which only ceased the instant the rope snapped and he fell into the pulsating abyss of his own violent final feast.
I would just give myself a heart attack and...
Jason screamed as he lunged back into reality, pulling with all of his might against the strange futuristic metal restraints that held him aloft in place in the middle of the dark interrogation chamber he'd been in for hours at this point. His head drooped and his muscles strained with ache and pain as he gave into reality once more. He was still trapped. "Oh, poor baby." The same voice broke the deep silence afterward that had been filling his ears the entire time. The strange woman stepped from the darkness and smiled her toothy, mirthless smile at him, and it tore into his psyche like blades, just like every time before. "You could make this end in a second. All you have to do is tell me where that disgusting little private detective is scummed off to, and I'll put you out of your misery." The woman flung her braided white blonde hair back over her shoulder and giggled to herself as Jason remained quiet. "You know, it's a lot more fun when you beg for mercy. Don't worry, it's not a sexual thing for me at all." Just kidding.
Sure.
It gets me crooning like a dairy farm every time, darling, she yelled out excitedly.
Wow.
"Suck a fuck, you rancid moth gunt," Jason spat out, glaring out of the top of his bloodshot eyes at her with his head still down.
Well, I've got
Jesus, she returned, bewildered. "You said you wanted begging? Then strap yourself in, sister," Dev interrupted, dangling from the same mechanical restraints less than a foot to the left of Jason, his own psyche looking pretty damn ravaged from unspeakable hallucinations. "Please let me go. I'll do anything. My dad's a football guy of some sort. He could..." The woman placed her hand over Dev's mouth. "Please never speak. Just ever. Your voice is like an enema sponsored by Epsom salts and knives."
Big knife.
"All right." Dev spoke through her hand, nodding. She removed it, and he instantly continued. "But how am I supposed to get out of here, then? I don't know anything about this Schrodinger Wentz guy. This whole thing seems pretty unfair to me." "It's been hours since we pumped the two of you full of every type of truth serum on the market," the woman continued, ignoring Dev completely and rubbing the bridge of her nose. "How haven't either of you spilled your beans yet?" "I almost did when I got here, but luckily I went before the convention," Dev said, incredibly honestly.
Yeah.
"God damn, you disgust me," Jason said just as honestly, leering over at Dev with disgust in his eyes. "I can't even fucking fathom why I want to be friends with you, but here we fucking are."
Oh, he wants to be friends.
You want to be friends too? I think you're like a cool action hero type, and I'm gonna be your sidekick," Dev said happily, leaning as far as his shackles would allow towards Jason. "Being a sidekick doesn't even affect my self-respect or ego, because I barely have either after a lifetime of bullying and parental neglect."
Wow.
I fucking hate that we have the parental neglect thing in common, god damn it.
Best friends.
My dad thinks I'm a disappointment because I didn't stick with baseball in high school, and I'm gay. But mostly the baseball thing for some fucking reason, Jason puzzled out. "My dad's the same way with football. Like I'm 98 pounds soaking wet, and you want me to play which position on this team full of pubescent behemoths? What am I gonna do, bite their ankles when they..." "Enough! God damn it, enough!" the woman captor screamed out, slamming her fist down on the table just beyond the edge of the light. "What is going on here? This isn't Dr. fucking Phil. It's an evil secret torture chamber. Do I need to start physically torturing the two of you to get you to tell me the one thing I need?" "Part of me would really like that," Dev whispered. "Sexually, I mean." "I know what you meant," the woman screamed.
Yes.
She threw both hands up in the air and paused, breathing in deeply with her eyes shut for a moment. When she released the breath and opened her eyes, she spoke again. "Look, you two don't know this, but I'm one of the 4 heavenly emperors of evolution. the highest-ranked, most evolved chrysalids in the entirety of Gestalt. I could have your entire families killed with a snap of my fingers and no one would ever find out. Hell, I could have you be seen as the culprits as I wanted. Is that what you want? Damn, Miller, you really lost control of this entire situation, haven't you? A voice from the darkness shocked the woman, apparently named Miller, from her rage-induced tantrum. All eyes in the room turned as two figures slowly walked from the darkness surrounding the lit circle at the center of the room everyone had been illuminated by until now. Two men, one large and imposing, and the other slippery and even-keeled. Who the hell invited the big bussy boys? Miller spat out, rolling her eyes. Bussy, the larger man said, scratching his thick fingers through the tightly cropped blonde crew cut atop his head. He stood close to 7 feet tall and wore a military uniform with all of the identifying regalia either ripped partially off or partially marked out with what looked like caked-on blood. His deep-set, dull gray eyes rolled from one side of their sockets to the other as he pondered over the word. What's a bussy? Is that like a boy pussy? Got it in one. The shorter man slithered out from behind him. He was tall, but naturally so, and extremely thin for a man his size. He wore an ostentatious snakeskin jacket with emblems webbed into the skin and fabric, and a pair of snakeskin boots to match. He was dressed in a loose black suit and tie otherwise. A greased pompadour with a streak of green dyed through it and a pair of sunglasses resting on his nose completed his look, whatever the fuck it was. Literal lounge lizard, I guess? Howdy, prisoners. Got any juicy goss for us? You! Jason lunged against his restraints at the shorter of the two men, his teeth gnashing together in rage. He struggled against his restraints with such violent, hateful energy that even Dev leaned away from him at this point. You're that snake fucker from last week! The one who fucked the bug guy and killed the old man across town! Damn, partner, that's a good memory you got there. I'd ask you to be more specific for me, but I suppose you probably only seen me do that shit once, so, The man we know as Snake said nonchalantly, shrugging as he did. Oh, big whoop, Dev interrupted angrily. You got an arch enemy? I got an arch enemy too. The other dude is Commander Hawk. He's the guy who tried to recruit me to join Gestalt and then, chase some big cowboy guy away. To be honest with you, I don't really remember that story very well. That memory, I mean. Memory. I don't remember this kid at all, Hawk said with a shake of his head and a jerk of his thumb towards him over his shoulder. Dev crumpled, dangling from his shackles in shame. Commander Hawk, Miller laughed loudly, even inciting a chuckle from Snake. You don't have a rank in Gestalt, you fucking LARPer. We all have one name after we're reborn. Your name is Hawk, period. Like Beyonce. Beyonce's last name is Knowles, you fucking fool! Hawk cried out, lunging towards Miller with his hands outstretched for her throat. Snake grabbed him under his arms, though, and held him back to the best of his abilities as the larger man flailed towards her, and she just stood there laughing in his face. Jason and Dev exchanged glances. The three stopped eventually and turned their attention back towards their captives. You're looking a sprig less froggy since you ain't running your mouth at a lone man anymore, Jason Grace, Snake said, stepping around in front of the incredibly hung and also being held captive by restraints, Jason. No violent threats, no big boasts about how you're gonna beat my head on something sturdy this time? You psychopaths just need to tell me where my brother is. That's all I ever fucking cared about. Fuck your stupid cause, the fucking cheese-smelling ass private dick, everything. Where is my little brother Archie? Jason wailed out in rage, his restraints shaking with his lunges against them. Miller and Hawk exchanged glances at the force of his movements, both slightly unsure that the manacles holding him in place would keep. Hawk shook his head to let her know that they were fine, though. Snake sneered a vicious, hateful grin. You want to see your brother Archie?
Oh, God.
He's here! Jason yelled out once more, this time with a lot less bass and fire in his voice and a lot more genuine concern. Sort of. Snake hissed. He walked back into the darkness, his entire body being engulfed in it for but a moment before he returned, pulling behind him a small table with a computer monitor and keyboard on it, the screen flickering to life as he did. Take a gander here. He pressed the enter key on the keyboard with a long, bony finger, causing the CTV screen to whir to life fully. A staticky view of a street in the middle of Whitesville could be seen through it, with a staccato date flittering in the corner. Weeks ago, just past sunset. The street was completely empty. Jason stared, unblinking at the screen as a long shadow appeared at its edges. A boy on a bike rode into frame, pedaling as fast as he could. Jason's eyes widened even further, and he pulled against his restraints, straining to get a closer look. The boy wore the Kirby Middle School baseball uniform and hat. There was no doubt who it was. The relief that washed over Jason in that moment, the relief of finally seeing his brother alive and well, was short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
Bladed fingers ripped Archie from his seat and flung him into the bare concrete. Archie was brave, though, and resourceful. He leapt to his feet and swung his baseball bat as hard and as fast as he could. But bravery sometimes isn't enough. The creature swung back, and Archie's head was severed from his shoulders in one fell swoop of blood and viscera.
Jesus.
Snake pressed the enter key again, pausing the feed. Jason stared, his mouth agape, tears running down his cheeks in his shaking, gutted silence. Dead as a doornail, partner, Snake sneered out, drawing his thumb across his throat violently. Shwick! No more noggin. Sad stuff, brother. Oh my God, Jason, Dev whispered, staring unblinkingly at his new companion with his own jaw dropped. Jason's head flopped over, and he hung limp from the restraints, completely silenced. You finally got him to shut the fuck up and stop barking at me like a dog. I feel I owe you gratitude, Snake. Ugh, I feel so unclean, Miller said, shivering in disgust at the thought. How about that? What you gotta say for yourself now, kiddo? You gonna beat me up with your dead brother's little league baseball bat? Snake laughed a heavy little chuckle, baring all of his sharp teeth.
Fucked up.
Jason dangled silently for a moment, then lunged all of his weight forward at Snake, causing the laughing to stop and his tormentor to take a quick, startled step backwards. Jason's teeth were clenched tight and his eyes bloodshot red as they poured tears still. He growled out his words as much as he spoke them. You motherfuckers have just made the worst mistake of your fucking lives. All I wanted to do was find my brother and go home, but now that that's not possible anymore, now that he's dead... Miller, Hawk, and Snake stared at him, each of them shocked to silence at his reaction. Now that he's dead, Jason continued, almost frothing at the mouth, I'm gonna hunt every single one of you Gestalt bastards down, no matter how far you fucking run, to the ends of the fucking earth and back, and I'm gonna kill every single one of you. And for Archie, I'm gonna make it as slow as I fucking possibly can. I think I peed a little, Dev said plainly. Bring! An alarm began to sound, loud enough to splinter eardrums normally, let alone after hours and hours of low talk in an interrogation room. Everyone in the room winced from the loud thrumming, but Hawk ran back into the darkness, disappearing into it. Suddenly, the overhead lights flashed on in the room, blinding pretty much everybody at once. Fucking Hawk! Miller screeched out, covering her eyes. There's an intruder alert, dipshit! Hawk grunted out in return, standing in front of a monitor in the wall and typing on the small keyboard attached to it. Now that the light was on, it was obvious that the room around them was covered in tables full of technology, classic torture devices, monitors, and various types of racks and spike traps and whatnot. All that kinky-ass shit your mama likes, but not enough of it. She's fucking dirty, son. Holy shit.
Damn, I want to know what my mama's into.
Anyway, you're having a baby sister. Oh yeah, the story. The three chrysalids stood around the screen on the wall, peering through the staticky footage on it together. Jason and Dev could barely make it out from where they were hanging from, but managed to watch as best they could. On the street outside this building, whatever it happened to be, there stood two 20-something women in semi-fashionable casual clothing, one holding a duffel bag and the other stealing glances of the one holding a duffel bag over and over and pretending like she wasn't when caught. They were looking at the building and speaking back and forth to one another about something. "It's just two women," Snake said nonchalantly, shrugging his shoulders. "The hell is the alarm going off for? Just lock the front door. The place looks like a damn abandoned building from the outside." "You never read your dossiers, Snake. You never keep up with intel. You're goddamn hopeless," Hawk barked back, glaring down at Snake. "That's the Esper girl from Kirby. The one who killed Queen Bee. The one who threw around half a block with her fucking mind." "Sue me for having a social life," Snake returned, then did a double take. "Wait, Queen Bee is dead? When the hell did that happen?"
This guy's way out of the loop.
"Like a week ago, who cares?" Miller said, typing on the keyboard. There was a loud squelch of static, and she withdrew a small, round CB radio-looking receiver from the side of the keyboard and held it to her mouth. "Dispatch drones. All of them. Yes, all of them. The Esper is outside, and she's still putting off some kind of supernatural energy that we can't pinpoint." Somewhere inside of the compound, there were walls lined with human beings. Each one dangled from a hook, slowly swaying back and forth. Their silence aided by the gas masks tied tightly to their faces. Their bodies draped in black and dark blue riot gear. Each one of them had once been a normal person, with a family, friends, a life of their own. So they weren't cops, is what I'm saying. You should feel bad for them in this predicament.
Okay. You said blue uniforms, and I was like,
But with the order from Miller, suddenly the hooks automatically began to lower to the ground, each dangling body swaying with the automated motion until the bottoms of their jack boots hit the ground. The instant after, the eye holes of their gas mask lit up with a horrific purple light for just a moment, causing all of their muscles to seize up and their bodies to jerk to life. The hooks yanked from their backs, sending a spray of unnecessary viscera because the practical effects team thought it would look cool, and then rescinded back into the wall.
"You have a team?"
You fucking know it, baby. Shit. They all turned in unison and mindlessly began to march down the hallway in lockstep. "Are you sure this is the place you saw on your peeping Tom invasion of privacy walkabout dips?" Alyssa asked without inflection, tilting her head from one side to the other as she peered at the dilapidated old wreck of a building in front of them and threw her duffel bag over her shoulder. The building could have been some kind of post office or shop at some point, but it was half caved in on itself and covered in moss and debris now. "Yo, it ain't peeping if there ain't no ghost laws about it, dude." Or, "Wait, there ain't no law in Ghostland?" Dip scratched at his non-corporeal chin. "There's nothing wrong with looking, long as you ain't cooking," he blurted out, and then nodded with a grin on his face, satisfied with himself.
What the fuck?
"Ooh, Dips, think before you say stuff," TK scolded, embarrassed that he said that in front of Alyssa more than anything else. She stuffed her hands in her jacket pockets and sunk her neck down below the collar of it, trying to hide from the feeling. "I'm going to assume he said some stupid shit and move on," Alyssa returned, looking down at the street distantly to see if she could spot any people. She still couldn't see or hear Dips for some reason. After they'd walked down the first few streets of town, the people staring at them from their porches had more or less dried up. She couldn't tell if she thought that was better or worse for them. "Harsh, bro." Dips floated back a little, whipping his hand around in the air to create a pair of ghostly sunglasses, the same blue-white transparent color as the rest of them, and settling them on his face.
Is this what you can do when you're a ghost? That's awesome.
For some reason, they became completely opaque, like a real pair of sunglasses once on his face.
Why would it...
Boy!
Did you just make sunglasses? TK asked, squinting her eyes at Dips. "You can make things now?"
Mm-hmm.
"Yo, I can shapeshift my ectoplasm and junk, dude. It's sick. I'm like Alex Mack and whatnot, dog."
Wait a minute, he can shapeshift his ectoplasm and his junk.
And
Indeed.
Wow.
"I can also pick who gets to see me and who doesn't, yo. That's why your girlfriend still can't. Leastways till she gets a little nicer to me, brah, Dips returned, floating with his hands behind his head in a reclined position. You can what? TK screamed out. TK? Alyssa took a step back away from the sidewalk, flinging her duffel bag off of her shoulder, yanking it unzipped and pulling the sawed-off shotgun from inside of it before throwing the bag on the ground haphazardly. What? You brought the gun for real? TK yelled.
Yeah.
But was immediately silenced when she looked at what had spooked Alyssa. From every man-sized hole, crack, and crevice in that old dilapidated building in front of them crawled a fucking riot officer or some shit, holding a semi-automatic rifle in their hands.
Jesus!
One by one, they emerged and walked to the edge of the sidewalk, standing stock still with their rifles at military-style present arms. There were at least 24 of them in total, and each one of them moved with an unnatural stiffness as to seem robotic. Not one of them spoke or made a sound. The squelching static of a loudspeaker broke the silence deafeningly, causing only TK and Alyssa to cover their ears amongst all these other people. The static struggled to clear, and within it, a strange voice could be heard in the distance for a moment. The moon beyond. We are coming. A loud, whining static ring broke the static voice, and a woman's voice broke through more clearly. Greetings, Teresa Kanzaki and Alyssa Madero. Welcome to die. TK and Alyssa exchanged glances. Drones, contain them. Every drone standing on the busted-up old building's lawn suddenly snapped to life and drew their rifles' butts up to their shoulders, pointing the barrels directly at the two young girls. Alyssa dropped her own shotgun to her side immediately. Holy shnikes, dude! Dips yelled out. TK stuttered, feeling very deeply in her soul that she should have something to say right now, as the de facto leader of this little fucked up trio, but finding no words in her dry, scratchy throat and her burning, terrified chest. The voice on the speaker came to life once more. Heavy arms to the front! The group of drones split directly up the center, revealing a single drone in the back, who was kneeling down on the ground. Laying across his shoulder, held up by both arms, was a U.S. military-grade bazooka, pointing directly at TK and Alyssa. Oh, fuck! TK and Alyssa screamed at once, turning immediately to run as fast as they could. I got this, dudes! Dips became a bolt of white, translucent lightning, swirling up into the sky and crashing back down directly into the body of the drone holding the bazooka in his arms. The drone's body still knelt stock still in place once Dips had disappeared inside. TK stopped running and turned back, panting and staring wide-eyed. Wait! Dips possessed the bazooka guy! We could turn the tide! The aforementioned bazooka guy jerked his head to the side for a second, then resettled his eye on the sights of the bazooka, still pointing it at them. Dips? TK scream whispered through gritted teeth. I can't. Dips's disembodied voice rang out from seemingly nowhere. I can't control this dude. Oh shit, bro. He ain't got no mind no more. The voice over the speaker sparked back to life. Heavy arms? Light 'em up. No, TK! Dips screamed out, trying with every bit of ghostly power he could to manage to stop the drone from pulling the trigger. But he couldn't do anything. The bazooka fired off, its backsplash of burning red-hot fire flashing to light just as the rocket within its tube exploded out of its end. Alyssa leapt to the ground and threw her hands over her head, wishing more than anything she hadn't followed the lead of a 90s snack food mascot ghost to the stupid fucking Resident Evil-ass death trap.
Chester Cheetah.
Dips flailed and pushed and did everything he possibly could to wrest control of the drone, but there was nothing to wrest control of. There was no thought left to hijack, and it was far too late anyway. All he could do was scream before the explosion would drown him out, And why did I write this? What the fuck?
Dude, I do it all the time.
All he could do was scream before the explosion would drown him out, and he could no longer see TK, his only friend in almost 30 years of undead wandering.
Aww.
But there was no explosion. Alyssa opened her tightly closed eyes and threw her head back to see what had happened to TK. Dip stared as well, with wide eyes stinging with tears for the first time since his death. The rocket shuddered violently back and forth in the air, every molecule of its being, every facet of its construction, trying to propel itself forward, but incapable of movement, locked in space and shaking for destruction. TK stood in the middle of the street, her hair flowing around her like the tendrils of an old god, her eyes an inky black to match, and the color-tinged winds of her power cycling around her like a fucking Super Saiyan. It was tight as fucking shit, dude.
Fuck yeah!
Okay, man.
She hadn't even raised her hands to stop the rocket. She just stood glaring at it, arms at her side, and it shivered in its confines only inches from her face. "The Esper has activated!" the voice on the speaker screamed. But before she could scream an order for her mindless drones, TK flashed her whiteless eyes across the street towards them who still lined up with their rifles pointed at her. The rocket in front of her, violently shaking as it tried to break her bonds, began to slowly, methodically rotate in space over itself, until its explosive tip was pointed back at the gathered crowd of minions. Oh shit, Alyssa muttered under her breath before scratching and fumbling back to her feet and beginning to run as fast as she could across the street away from what was about to happen. She made it behind a house across the lane by the time TK released the missile from her unseen grasp and allowed it to finally make its final destination, directly into the dilapidated building just behind the drones. To say that the explosion was larger than you would imagine is an understatement. The old building had been rigged for explosion at some point or something, because that shit went up like the 4th of July at my inbred hillbilly-ass cousin's house the weekend after he finally made bail money. The bright white light was blinding and encompassed half the block on either side of the street. When the blast had subsided, there was a deep, eerie, shell-shocked quietness. The bodies of the drones had been completely decimated, leaving nothing behind but blood stains on the ground in their wake. Dips was floating exactly where the bazooka drone had been knelt, his entire body stiff and eyes wide in a complete and unbridled level of shock he had never felt in his entire life. A massive smear of viscera behind him showed him exactly where his possessee had gone.
Just fucking... He's still standing where it was. That's great.
Alyssa slowly but surely began to push herself up to her feet and looked behind her where she had been kneeling behind the house across the street. Except, of course, there was no house across the street anymore. Not in any way that really mattered. Splintered wood lay everywhere, amongst concrete and indiscernible metal chunks. She was alive only because there was a thin, human-sized strip of the house, from front to back where she stood, still intact. The exact bit of the house lined up perfectly to be right behind where TK floated in the middle of the street. TK's body had blocked the explosion from harming her at all. She still floated about an inch off the ground in place, her hair swirling in the unseen energy she evoked. Her body had blocked the path of the explosion perfectly in order to ensure that Alyssa had survived. But a few seconds after that, her eyes drained of their void, and she very quickly slumped over, falling onto the hard concrete of the road hard. "TK!" Alyssa screamed, running across the road and dropping down next to her, wrapping her up in her arms. "TK, are you okay? TK, say something, please! Holy shit! TK!" She turned her head up into the air and screamed into no direction specifically. "Dibs! Dibs!" The ghostly teenager appeared out of nothingness next to her in a way that would have probably made her poop pants at any other point. But she immediately began to hold TK out to her. "You gotta do something. Is she dying? What happened?" "Yo, she's out cold, bro. It's cool, though. She'll be fine, but we absolutely gotta get out of here, dude. Who knows when that voiceover witch will pop up and horny toad us all, bro?" Dip said frantically. "What?" Alyssa yelled with exasperation in her voice. The explosion had rattled the subterranean complex below the dilapidated old building pretty damn badly. Everything that could have fallen had fallen, and it had thrown around everyone who wasn't attached to a big, horrific torture machine of some kind pretty good. When they had righted themselves, Hawk was the first one to break the silence. "God damn, that was fucking crazy!" he screamed out, pointing at the flashing static on the monitor screen they'd been staring at.
Is Hawk your cousin?
No. "Move, imbecile!" Miller screeched, shoving Hawk to the side as best she could. She began to type frantically on the keyboard. The screen flashed a few times, then switched to a camera somewhere more distant. She had to zoom in 3 or 4 times before they could all clearly see the 2 girls sitting in the middle of the street, the other one cradling Teresa Kanzaki in her arms. How in the hell is this girl capable of such power? Espers are spoonbenders at best, usually, Snake said without conviction, his mind elsewhere at that moment for some reason. "How in the fuck should I know, boot-scootin' boogie? She killed Queen Bee. We knew she was powerful. I can't believe I sent the drones out," Miller hissed from gritted teeth.
You fucked up.
"That's all we have at this outpost as well. It'll take hours for drones to make it here from our clay," Hawk returned. "We're just going to have to kill her ourselves. If all 3 of the remaining 4 emperors attack her at once, especially while she's weakened like this, we can wipe her out and be done with it," Miller said expositionally while walking towards the door on the other side of the room.
Yep.
She paused before opening it, looking back at Jason and Dev. "We won't be long, dears. Stay put for mommy." And Miller and Hawk went through the door, disappearing on the other side. Snake walked to behind where Jason and Dev could see for a moment before leaving. He returned holding Jason's fireman's axe in his hand and shoved it up to his neck violently. "I ought to keel haul you with your own fucking axe and leave you for the fucking birds, kid. You can't threaten a man and walk away from it." "I'm not doing much walking right now, fuckface," Jason spat out, again growling more than speaking. But something about the axe had captured Snake's attention instead. He peered at it with raised eyebrows and then began to chuckle. "Now how did a little shit stain like you end up with a Silver Blood Society weapon? This little number'll burn away anything that ain't considered natural by you flat-skinned fools. You're a little too human to be a member. Did you steal it off a corpse somewhere, Junior?" The wall speaker squealed to life and Miller's voice sparked through. "Snake, get the fuck up here! You're not gonna shirk your duty on this one, limp dick." "I'm coming," Snake yelled out at no one who could hear.
Yeah.
He turned back to Jason and grinned, tossing the axe onto the floor next to him. "You sit pretty, partner. I'm gonna have a lot of fun peeling your skin off and making my new boots." Damn. And with that, Snake also disappeared outside the doors. "I never thought they'd leave," Dev said after a few moments, rubbing his wrists and cracking his back. "Wait, what?" He stood in the middle of the room, upright and completely free from captivity. Fucking twist!
He's too skinny.
"What the fuck? You're out of your shackles?" Jason screamed out, then immediately thought better and lowered his voice to a whisper. "What the fuck?" "Oh yeah, I installed a virus I keep in my calculator watch into the security systems the second we got here," Dev beamed. "I just couldn't release my shackles until there wasn't as high of a chance of someone beating me up instantaneously and violently." Jason noted he didn't say it was a 0% chance, since he was still there. "God damn, that's improbable as fuck!" "Forget it though, Dev. You're a fucking miracle worker." "Now get me down from here. We gotta get the fuck out of this place." "Easy squeezy, big cheesy," Dev said beamingly. He tapped a few buttons on his calculator watch, which caused the manacles around Jason's hands and legs to drop him to the floor instantly. Jason drew himself back up to his full height and rotated his shoulder around a few times. All right. He reached down to the floor and picked up his silver-tipped axe, looking over it from one side to the other with a newfound curiosity for its origins. "We got some serious work to do now." What? We're not just running?" Dev asked with a little shake to his voice. I did mention I already peed a little, right?" We're staying, Jason returned, walking over to the monitor on the wall, which still showed an image of Alyssa rocking TK back and forth in the street and talking to seemingly no one. Jason placed his finger on the screen next to them. We're meeting up with them. We're not leaving them to get killed in their sleep by these Gestalt pieces of shit. Fuck that. He then walked over to the other side of the room and knelt down next to the CTV, which had fallen from its table perched on the ground. The frame that Snake had paused on was flickering on its black and white screen. A horrific insectoid monster stood in the middle of the street, raising its massive bladed arms to the sky. Jason placed his finger next to the insectoid monster and gritted his teeth. Then we're gonna find him. I know exactly who this fucking grasshopper fucker really is, and I'm gonna dissect him for science class 100 fucking times over.
Cricket Man!
Elsewhere, in Whitesville, Connecticut, the wind blew harshly from across the empty town. It ruffled the dark black wavy hair of a man who walks along the middle of the street by himself, hands in his black overcoat pockets as his tails were splayed through the air behind him. The man's eyes were steel and hate as he walked towards his destination. His prey will lead him to even bigger fish. Gestalt will pay for what they've done to him. Rio Tachibana will finally have his revenge.
Cricket Man!
The end.
Hey!
That was incredible!
Thank you.
That was really good.
That was so good.
14 fucking pages.
Well, it didn't feel like 14 because when you do a story like that, you got a lot of dialogue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you end up.
My throat is
double
killing
spacing.
me.
Oh, I'll soothe it, baby.
Maybe someone should have calculated right who was reading last this week, is all I'm going to say. And then you would have done a smaller story.
I guess I would have known if one of my co-hosts wasn't a fucking liar.
That's true.
What the fuck ever.
What's the
Next
note
week-
say, fucker? What's it
Next
say?
week, it's Rich, Rich, and then Rich.
I believe that's what the note says.
It's Jeff, Rich, Josh. So Josh, don't do a long story next week. Sorry, I went away from the mic a little bit.
I do. All right,
Because I'm a professional.
Are you back, Chocolate Rain? Or
leans away from the mic to breathe.
so we can breathe. Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, that you guys wrote really good stories this week.
I think
You
they were
did
all
too.
good, man.
Yeah, sure.
My story had every character from this season in it except Pavlov Flinch.
I thought
that's
when
the
you did the
only
black
criticism.
hair. I thought when you did the black hair and he was walking on his own, I thought you were going to reveal that it was Pavlov for a second.
Flinch has brown hair.
Yeah, I
So
know,
it's
but
not him.
you could have
He
easily
dyed
said
it.
that he was wearing one of those hair solutions or something like that.
It's
Just
like
for men.
Rudy Giulianiing down his forehead.
Perfect.
Ugh.
I wonder if
Down
anybody's
the
figured
Four
out.
Seasons. Landscaping parking lot.
I wonder if anybody's figured out why Gestalt wants Pavlov Flinch.
I don't know.
His Game Boy.
They want the Game Boy Advance he has.
He's got a really rare copy of Kirby. It's the key to their plans.
I did a lot of voices this time. My throat hurts a lot.
Yeah, I can see why.
Oh yeah, it's summer now, so there's like race cars.
Well,
Outside.
also,
Vroom,
Like-
vroom.
we probably need to realise that the allergy season starts in a couple of weeks, and this is going to make the podcast very interesting again because we're going to be doing a lot of voices, and they are going to be fucked.
Like
It's
the
true.
true nerdlinger I am, I get bloody noses a lot.
Oh no!
Because
Aw.
that's how like the
Full and
sympathy.
full of fucking Nerdosaurus Rex over here.
Yeah, it's better. That I didn't want like oh.
I developed allergies in my late 20s, which
Yeah.
really fucking blows.
No, I think that's like when you, because that's what happened to me too. Like I never had them growing up, right? Like
Oh man, I remember the day I got my hay fever. I was at primary school, I was about 10 at the time, and I remember rubbing my eyes so badly that I put one of those like pussy blisters on my eyeball. Yeah.
Jesus.
Rich got
bad.
pink eye.
This is fucking worse than
It was
Pavlov
yellow
flinch.
eye. It was gross, man.
That's
it was so bad.
disgusting.
Like, I didn't know what was happening. I was like, oh my god, my eye's gonna fall out, and I can distinctly remember the day of just fucking scratching my eye until it was like I was almost blinded.
Rich had piss eye.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked like someone had pissed in my eye. Yeah.
That's fucked.
Weirdly enough, Rich went to R. Kelly Primary School.
Topical.
Excellent.
It was topically applied.
Topical and analgesic.
I feel like I've given everybody everything they could want in the past few episodes. I did a Frankenstein, I did a Candle Cousins, and now every character from this season is in an episode.
Oh man, where's Pavlov? You haven't given everything. You've given nearly.
Nobody wants Flinch back. It's fine.
Rich does.
Everyone does.
Rich and maybe I do, but I don't want to admit it.
Flinch is a big part of the mystery.
Yeah.
He's a mystery that no one's killed him yet, that's for sure.
He's an enigma of a man, as in, how did he live this long?
Every time you say his name, I can smell him.
Yeah. Cheesy.
He smells like cheese.
Yeah.
Fucking disgusting. Holy fuck. Smells like valerian root.
He smells
Smells like a cum tree.
Oh fuck, we have those.
He's worse than Puss Eye or Piss Eye.
Piss eye.
Rich Piss Eye Masters.
That's my soldier name.
At least you didn't dookie your pants like what's his name did.
Barry Ryder.
You remember the fake name.
I did remember the fake name.
Really Harry. Right.
No.
Who?
No.
What?
I remember it was actually Barry, but the last name was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to shatter the illusion here or anything.
Said Harry. Barry
Right.
Ryder.
Right. Okay. With that, I guess we're going to close the cover. Of the clown
Man,
car.
we need to fix that shit.
Thanks to Wiedersen, as always, for the use of always dope-ass music that he specifically created for our show. You rock, buddy. Greg was on last week's episode. If you haven't listened to it already and you're for some reason listening out of sequence, I mean, you're a fucking weirdo. But if you have listened to him out of sequence, go back and listen to that one. He did an absolutely fucking fantastic job. I said something on Storylords, which I kind of regret saying. Like, we were talking about Greg on the show last week, and I was saying that, like,
You said Storylords, that's this show.
Oh, on
Rich, are you dumb?
On Toonhound.
on
you said
Toonhounds.
it.
Thank you. And I was saying to Spivsy that it is it's like an art doing a one-off. It's in like some ways a lot easier doing a one-off, but it's easier to pour every joke you fucking got into that.
Yeah.
But then you've got to make it. If you're doing a one-shot, you've got to make it as good as you possibly can. And he fucking nailed it last week.
Oh, yeah.
You don't save anything for the swim back. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
He came in and he met and exceeded all of the standards that we
The
set
story
for the
was
show.
great. It was so
Yeah.
good.
The
it was
Green
really
Avenger might be my favorite Storylords character.
He squirts pickle juice out.
Who doesn't squirt pickle juice? Am I
in their
right?
eye. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But if you want to find out anything more about Greg, you can head over to vidersen.card with 2rs.co, and he's got all this info about his music, inside leg measurement, social security number, all those sorts of things.
How many dicks he has.
Spoilers.
The
it's
answer
10.
might surprise you.
It won't, because I just revealed it.
Oh no. You have to fucking figure out how to get rid of my overlapping audio to find out the answer.
He's like one of those jars at a carnival with jelly beans, but it's filled with dicks.
He just puts a jar around his groin, and you've got to guess how many.
Gotta guess, yeah.
And if you do,
They're all
you get
coiling around each other. It's really difficult, man.
It's like an octopus in a jar.
Yeah.
So
You gotta look
now
for the heads.
we're going to bring out the all-C prompt ball. And I mean, you're bringing your own Foley this week.
Yeah, I don't need to do anything for the edit. We're good.
The first one is Staffs by Phantom Thief Goofus.
Like the weapon, or like how Jeff has a staff that does all of his production.
Or a staff infection.
Like you had in your eye.
However you want to take it in the eye, that is the prompt
Wow.
it could be. And the second prompt is Baking by Israeli Donut.
What? Bacon?
Baking.
Baking.
Like baking bread.
Baking.
Gotcha.
Now, if you heard the prompts and you thought, Donut, man, what were you thinking? Bacon? Then you can put your money where your fucking mouth
donut
is.
chose bacon. Yeah, right?
Then you can put your fucking money where your mouth is and head over to patreon.com/storylords, and for as little as $5 a month you can suggest prompts, join the Discord, read our stories on the Patreon. And then for as little, if you want to up your pledge a little bit, we've lost a few patrons recently, and
we know it's tax season in America, so you're probably like filling out your tax forms and saying that you bought a pool, writing that off or whatever.
Our rich and handsome listeners definitely have a pool.
Yeah.
It wasn't Justin Bieber a listener last we decided.
Oh no, he definitely is. What else is he doing?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, maybe. But for $10, you get access to sidecasts. So we do a show called Afterlords now, which we record. It's like the post-game show. There you go. Or we do some other stuff. We really need to record some of that other stuff. And then for $20, you get all that, creator credit in the upcoming book, and mentions in the book as well. So, and I'm going to do something this week. I'm going to shout out our top tier patrons.
Yeah!
Because some of them have been with us an incredibly long time, and I feel like we need to shout them out. So thank you to Heath Robinson, Freddie Rodriguez, Squid Ludwig, Sean Tabor, Anthony Stoker, Kempster, Pez King, and Stephen. You're all great. Yeah,
Stephen especially.
Stephen's single name, like Prince and not Beyonce.
And not Beyonce.
Not Beyonce.
But like some of these people, Sean, Squid, Freddie, and Heath particularly, they have been top tier patrons since the very beginning of the show.
They're very like well known names on this podcast for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I got their names
so
tattooed
much.
on my very real large dick.
Yeah. I mean, Heath, Freddie, Squid Ludwig, and Tabor were all characters in the first season of my show, and for that reason,
Your show.
And my series of my show,
His
Rich
show.
Masters of Storylords.
Rich featuring those other two
what?
idiots.
I'm fine with that.
Fine. That means I take all the liabilities when it goes wrong. Have we got any reviews?
Oh shit, I'm ill prepared for this.
But while you're preparing, I will say that if you haven't already, and let's say you're listening and you can't support financially, which is fair enough. There's a lot of people that can't support right now. It is a shitty time for a lot of people. One of the ways you can help the show is heading over to wherever you listen to this podcast and dropping us a review. It gets.
I think we do have a new one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It gets a scene, and it just helps with the SEO of the podcast. So, okay.
Our only review this time. Josh, you want to do the honors for the name?
It's from Monkey!
Almighty Story Lords. This pod is so good it'll make you three yourself. Don't know what that means? You'll have to listen to find out. Three dudes tell three stories full of humor, suspense, and insanity. I look forward to this podcast the most every other week, and it helps me get through the hour-long drives to work. Keep on story lording. 5 stars.
Heard it. Great review.
That really makes me happy that like people listen to us on the way to work. Like, no one wants to work. Regardless of what job you have, I think we'd all rather be sitting and doing something creative or something that enriches us rather than enriches someone's
Cranking
pockets. Or that, yeah. Hopefully don't get it in your eye.
It's like getting pickle juice, am I right?
But if you are turning to us for a bit of relief, not with a crank in it relief, although, you know, it's your show, do what you want with it.
Yeah, do it.
The first half of your story seems perfect for it. I don't know.
I was getting ready to unzip, but, you know.
Yeah, it sadly got interrupted by cyborg parts.
I hated that part.
That means a lot to us. It really does.
It does.
It's nice. That was as emotional as I could get.
That's
it was
it.
nice.
That's as
we
emotional as
appreciate
any
you
British
guys.
person will ever get.
We appreciate you guys very, very much, especially the people who've come along with us for the entire journey, like since the first season. It doesn't feel like we started this show too long ago.
Yeah.
It was called something different for a while. We won't get into that.
I believe it was called...
Laurie Stords.
Yeah, Rich's dumb name, he picked the name.
Hey.
It used to be called Rich Masters Story Lords. But it's been a long journey. It's really, like, I underestimated when we started the show how difficult it is to write a full story every 2 weeks, even if it is
crazy.
short.
It's crazy
but
hard.
it's worth it to like hear the laughter of my two best pals and to know that it's entertaining people out there.
It's also nice to have one of the nicest Discords I've ever been a part of.
We really do. We lucked out.
It's just everyone is so nice there and so welcoming, even Kempster.
Even Steven.
And it's really like, I will say that I do not have a lot of free time, so being able to do this for you lot and you two is really important to me. And we love you too, Rich. Thanks. I didn't know where I was going with that.
I was gonna ask Josh, you gonna undermine his heartfelt moment too? Or not?
Yeah, that's what I'm here to do, baby. Because real feelings make me uncomfortable.
Yay, same.
I have emotional problems.
There's probably some childhood reasons for all of this.
Well, if you want to find out anything else about the show, you can head over to storylords.cardwith2rs.co. I'm going to try and go. Or storylords.page.
Yep, storylords.page, baby.
Nice.
And we want to say a big thanks to Malanite, who's our lore master, who's updating the wiki on a semi-regular basis, which is out of the kindness of his own heart, which is really good. Big thanks to Nate, who does our animated intro that is on the card as well, and another big thanks to Vidison, who's our official Lord Bard. I think that's probably it, right?
I think so.
We need a sign-off message for the podcast.
Yeah. Oh well.
Fuck yourself, everybody.
So next week it'll be what the fuck with the pod? Oh, staffs and bacon. So we look forward to entertaining you with those two prompts as we do every 2 weeks. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
The Lords have spoken.
Keep on firing me, bros.